Welcome to the Americana Bistro Grill. I'm your host, Roberto Alvarez-Galloso, serving you the best in Americana music. Before we continue with Americana Bistro Grill, this is a Christmas special with great people. But I want to dedicate this to three groups. One of them is Pioneer Valley, who I have just invited, and I'm dedicating this interview with them, to them. Plus, I'm dedicating this interview to two other Americana groups. One of them is the group from New Mexico, resident of Tennessee, Gleewood, very famous for their song Rock and Roll is Dead, but Not Dead, and also for their version of White Rabbit, which they recorded with Robin Cage. It's another Americana artist that I'm dedicating this interview. The next one, I am dedicating it to Sugarcane Jane. Sugarcane Jane is a great group from Alabama, and I love all their songs. I even love their interpretation of Mrs. Robinson. Plus, I like their song, I'm gonna plant me a new mine. I'm gonna grow me a new mine. Thanks, I just wanted to be sure. I have here the first people that I dedicated this interview to, Pioneer Valley, one of the greatest Americana groups. At a time when Americana music is dying, supposedly, they are proving that it is not true. And I'm congratulating them in reviving not only Americana music, but also reviving the folk part of it as left by Bob Dylan, Joan Baez, and Peter Tork. For me, it's a pleasure and honor having you.
Thank you for having us, man. This is our first interview ever as a band.
Okay, for me it's a pleasure and honor having you because, 1 minute. I have too many interruptions. I'm just getting rid of some of them.
Okay.
Now we're gonna get back to the important thing. How did Pioneer Valley get formed, and where are you from?
Well, we're both we're brothers, and we're both from Massachusetts. Well, we've played with a bunch of different bands over the years, played in bands with each other also. And because of the pandemic, we started writing a bunch of songs together and said, man, let's just go ahead and do a duo. We got to do something with all these songs. So we got them all together, started recording them, and decided to name the band after a stretch of road in Massachusetts that we think is just a beautiful place.
Yep. For those who don't know Massachusetts, like all of us do, I'm originally from Ohio, the Cuban parents and Spanish grandparents, the whole bit, and I have family in New England and Connecticut, and I know some people from Massachusetts, but not from Western Massachusetts, but from Boston. Maybe you might want to elaborate on what is Pioneer Valley.
There was a lot of stuff, a few years after the Pilgrims came, the French started coming, the British were starting to sort of impose their imperialism, and I think there were a group of people that kind of resisted both countries, and I think once you got to about halfway to the west of Massachusetts, there was a bunch of people that started resisting. So I think that might be why they call it Pioneer Valley. I'm not 100% sure, but back in the 1600s, that was the West, which is funny when you think about it. But Western Massachusetts was as far as any of the Europeans had ever gotten.
Yeah, and as far as the topographical it goes, you get the coast on Boston. It starts to really change when you get to Worcester, and then west of that, you get mountains, a lot of rivers, and even though Massachusetts is really small, that's really different. There's a lot of changes in the land, and it gets very, very different. A lot more like Vermont and upstate New York. And then the people really change too, just the outlook and the attitude.
Great. with your band and that you've written a lot of music during the pandemic, have you? Are you going to be making them into like a CD, or are you planning any? Are you planning any? Are you planning any virtual concerts, or afterwards, if this pandemic blows over and we get some sort of normal, will you do live concerts, especially here in Key Largo, Miami, Florida, the whole bit?
Yeah, we hope to go all over the place if we can. Today was our release of the first single, and so right now the plan is to just keep releasing singles to Spotify. Well, everywhere. It's going to Apple Music and every other place we possibly can. But playing music is fun. It's a joy, and we hope that we can continue to just go out and play as a duo. It seems to work really good. There's a little bit of chemistry magic here that we hope to bring out to a live audience at some point.
Yeah, I've heard some of your music and some of your singles in Spotify and other areas. 1 minute. You have to excuse me. I just choked on I was choking on one of my chickens. I don't have any virus or anything, whatever. So if you hear me like coughing, it's because the chicken.
Well,
the chicken went into my trachea.
Well, we can't catch anything over the phone anyway, so we're safe.
Great. As I was saying, I heard some of your music, and believe me, your music. I'm reminded of Bob Dylan. We got a lot of inspiration from Bob Dylan. I think Western Massachusetts and upstate New York has that inspiration, along with Vermont. Joan Baez, you have another inspiration, Peter Tork. Many people don't believe this, but Peter Tork was famous as one of the Monkees. But no one ever took into account that Peter Tork, before he became one of the Monkees, he was in the New England and the New York circuit as a folk singer. And that after the Monkees broke up, although he went back to the Monkees later on, he had the folk music origin. And you have that. And then there's another group that you remind me of, Simon and Garfunkel. You're sort of like
that's a good one. No, I'll take that.
You're like the Simon and Garfunkel of the 21st century.
What was the song that Peter Tork wrote for Stone Ponies? That's a great song.
Oh, Beat of a Different Drum. That was Peter Tork's song. Different Drum, is that it?
Yeah, Different Drum, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that, but I also remember that he'd also performed with one of the members of Crosby, Stills and Nash, with Stephen Stills, and it was Stephen Stills who saw the magazine for Peter Tork for the Monkees. They said, "You're not going to be doing anything here. Go and audition for the Monkees," and the rest is history. But that opaques, that hides the fact that he was a folk genius, and that you two have managed to copy and get inspired from him, and I like that. And in addition to you two doing having the history of the Pioneer Valley and the music, and writing a lot of music during the pandemic, how were you able to survive the pandemic with the music, writing the music?
Yeah, we'll find out. That's yet to be seen. I think right now it's more of something to do. We've got some free time that we didn't have, where we're not out touring, we're not playing with other bands, so it's survival, but hopefully it's investing in something that we can continue on after.
Don't worry, you'll be investing. You're going to be a big success.
I hope so. Thank you for saying that.
You're going to be one of the biggest success. I'm already seeing you not only performing in the Key Largo Original Song Fest, but I'm also seeing you performing the Key West Original Singer-Songwriter Festival, and I'm even seeing you in the Durango Song Festival.
That would be great.
So, and you're gonna be great. You're gonna be successful. You just have to keep faith in yourself and pound all the keys and everything to the music, and you'll do great. And you just have to remind me when you have a digital concert as well. Who are your musical idols? Who are your musical idols, and what did you learn from them in order to make Pioneer Valley Pioneer Valley?
Well, you already mentioned Simon and Garfunkel. Obviously, you have to mention Bob Dylan, but the band is a big one. So all of the guys from, songs from Big Pink, and there's a lot of aspects of what the Beatles do as far as harmonies and song construction that, not so much Americana or folk, but I'm trying to think who else.
Steve Earle,
We just watched a
Rodney Crowell.
We just watched a Sam Bush video on Instagram TV. He was playing some bluegrass, which was just phenomenal.
Poco, Flying Burrito Brothers.
Yeah, that's a good one. Some of the Texas music is great. Like Steve Earle wouldn't be, but Townes Van Zandt and Jerry Jeff Walker, who is I think a New Yorker at first, but kind of known as a Texan. Loved a lot of that stuff. The Gonzos, great Gonzos was great. I'm a big Willie Nelson fan, although I don't think you can hear any of that influence in the music. But
No.
But I love Willie Nelson. I've got everything that he's done. And then I'm trying to think of some of the guitar stuff. It goes into Dwayne Eddy, believe it or not, and Link Ray, The Ventures.
Yep.
So
Albert Lee.
I don't know if I'd call some of that guitar stuff surf or not, but I really love the big guitar. The big Gretsch sound is a big influence for me. So it kind of takes it into a little more electric than folk, but it's all in there somewhere.
Well, you have all the mixtures of what you have in there, and really great. And I'm very happy that you were able to get some of the folk music and some of the Americana music, that you're able to preserve it. How do you see the future of Americana music, especially the folk realm?
Well, you said that someone has said it was dying, and I that's the first I've ever heard it. So it seems like it's growing pretty big. Was it Nathaniel Rateliff or Rateliff? Sturgill Simpson and Chris Stapleton, which I think is a little bit more on the country outlaw side. That stuff is all flying really well in Americana right now, and also it's Gillian Welch, which is running the opposite side of that stuff. It seems like, if anything, the Americana stuff is widening, and you can go real folk, you can go light with it, like not light, but the music can be open and airy, it can be hard hitting, it can be full band. Acoustic bluegrass is covered, all of this, and even blues and soul is now kind of included in the Americana scene, which at first it would have been more alt country than anything.
Actually, it was like, when I first started the Americana Bistro Grill, I started it as a host in AMI Radio in Bradenton Beach, Florida. And it was like that, alternate country and alternate rock. And then it started moving to other areas. And I do agree with you that Americana music is enjoying a revival. And it's enjoying coming back, it's helping America come back to its musical roots. And I love that, because we need that. And it's artists like you, the Pioneer Valley, that has been doing that. Other artists such as Gleewood, even though they said rock and roll is dead, but it is not dying. They've been doing their part with their cover of White Rabbit with Robin Cage. Robin Cage is another one that's been in the Americana scene. One of my biggest favorites, Jessica Shepard. And you even have someone from Massachusetts, Tiffany Gazette. She recorded Still this year. And her name is, there was a Americana star, Tiffany Gazette. I interviewed her about 2 months ago, and she recorded a song called Still, which is like a soft Americana ballad. And
all right.
And it was
just gave me a whole bunch of stuff to check out. Yeah.
And it was really great. There's another one, Caitlin Cannon, who's also great. So
yeah, she's great. She's a favorite of mine also. So
And I've also another one that I've been considered a favorite. Katie Laurel is another favorite too. So Americana is reviving, and it's going to keep reviving, and it's going to keep growing. And when we get out of this, whatever it is, because I'm not going to make any opinions about it. I just want to enjoy the time, because you two are really great people. You're gonna go places. And this interview, it's gonna be in YouTube, and it's gonna be on all the platforms. I couldn't get it on Instagram Live, but again, 1 minute. You have to excuse me. I'm getting some announcements about some of the news of Americana music. Unfortunately, I'm also been getting some of the what is it called? The political announcements that I don't look for.
Yeah.
So I just simply want to concentrate on this. You're gonna go places, and you're gonna go advance. We're gonna be seeing a big revival of Americana music, much greater than we could imagine, with all the artists that I just mentioned, the ones that you already know, and the ones that that you already told me that you're familiar with. And we're even gonna have we're even gonna have some more like Instant Karma, and also Ricky Valido, who are other great ones in Americana music, and even Midnight Kahuna. Midnight Kahuna is a mixture of Elvis Presley and the famous Cuban star Benny Moré. Benny Moré Benny Moré in Cuba was like big. He wasn't Americana. Benny Moré was like tropical big band, sort of like a Louis Armstrong in the States.
He wasn't part of that Buena Vista Social Club.
No, Benny Moré died a long time ago before that.
Okay, that's a great movie, by the way.
I know.
As far as the Cuban music, man, is so cool. It's something I don't think I'd ever be able to do, but pretty cool stuff.
I know. Remember, my parents are from Cuba, and I also knew some of the artists that were. Not directly, but I knew some of the artists that knew some of the artists that knew some of the artists that had to do with Buena Vista Social Club. And I had some relatives, I also had some other relatives who were singers and actresses in Cuba, before Castro and after Castro. Which does not mean that it does
kind of brought us into that.
Which does not mean that I'm in agreement with the system. I'm just simply saying that the artists that I know personally, and some of them I like, and they were really great. So I was saying that Midnight Kahuna, which is another Americana artist, was a mixture of this Cuban tropical big band leader called Benny Moré, who died at the age of 46, and then Elvis Presley. So you're in great company, and you're going to be going places, as I said. I do hope one day to visit you in Western Massachusetts when all of this blows over, or that you could come to Florida.
Well, you let us know if you've got a festival or something, or maybe we could do another interview when another single comes out or something. But
when
we really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview, and yeah, this has kind of been an exciting day for us.
Yeah.
For me, it's a pleasure and an honor. When you have another single, we're going to be including you all the time, because we have to include Pioneer Valley. And when you finally do a CD, just let me. Excuse me. It's just the chicken in the trachea. Just let me know. Just let me know, and we will gladly promote the album. Just simply look at the artists that I just told you about. And there are two other artists that I do recommend from Texas. One is Laura Marie. Laura Marie is a Texas singer-songwriter. I love her music. Vanessa Peters is another Texas singer-songwriter. She's in Italy right now. And and another one, Vanessa Lively. Vanessa Lively is bilingual. I like how Vanessa Lively writes her own original music, but Vanessa Lively was also a big activist during the Citizens Revolution in Ecuador in 2006 and 2007. She did all the participation of the revolution, cutting vegetables and everything, and sang in Ecuador the famous song by Atahualpa Yupanqui, Los Hermanos, or the Brothers, which means solidarity. And of course, you in Western Massachusetts are very great in combating all forms of imperialism, including the including the musical ones.
Yeah, maybe 400 years ago. There's still some remnants of it now, but yeah.
Don't worry, you have many remnants of it now, because before Cuba, my ancestors were from Galicia and from the Basque Country of France. Galicia is the province of Spain. You know that Spain, many people say Spanish is the official language of Spain, but there are areas of Spain where regional languages take a first seat and the Spanish takes the back seat. Galicia.
Well, I've met quite a few Basque people out west in Nevada. There's some family members that are, well, they're uncles and cousins, and they're Basque, and that's another really great food.
No, not just great food, but they also had good. Some of the Basque music gave rise to Americana music. I hear it. My father's side of the family was from Galicia, which is in Spain. Their official language is first Galician and then Spanish. Like Catalonia is Catalan and then Spanish. My mother's side of the family was from the Basque Country of France. The Basque Country of France, you have the Basque Country of Spain, it's Basque and Spanish. In the Basque Country of France, we're still trying to get around the fact of the language, because the French want French first and then Basque second. Sort of like
what was it? The Tour de France had they went through Basque Country a couple Tour de France's ago, and it was great. It was wild. Wasn't it a hill climb?
Yeah, it's pretty hilly there. Yeah.
No, it was very
full of Basque flags go all over.
It was
place.
very great.
One of the climbers was a Basque rider.
Yeah, it was very great. In my ancestral homeland of my mother's side of the family in Basque Country of France, this was long before the Tour of France with the Basque flags. Since we're in the same wavelength, I'm going to take advantage of this interview to talk about it. There was a little valley, a little small town in France called Saint-Jean-de-Luz. It's in the Basque Country of France. It was during that time Louis XIV of France. I gotta laugh about this one because I have the feeling that some of my ancestors participated. That's why I have this anti-imperialism verve, just like you do. King Louis XIV, you know, the one with the big wigs, the Versailles and all the other thing, married one of the Spanish princesses of Spain in order to attempt to unite the crowns and thrones of Spain and France. They decided to do the wedding in Saint-Jean-de-Luz, which was like between Paris and Madrid. Good for them, bad for the Basque people of France. Louis XIV, in all of his arrogance, took the church where they were going to marry and say, we're going to enter here and we're going to exit here. But the church people said, the people who had the church said, we can't do that. That has a wall. They said, okay, you open the wall in the church and we will get out with our procession. Since you could not disobey Louis XIV, he's like most of our politicians, since you could not disobey Louis XIV, they obeyed. But they had something else in mind. They opened the hole in the wall. I hate these political campaigns that they come seeing me. Okay, back to the story. They opened the hole. They allowed the procession to leave via the wall. They said, you want to do that? We're going to do that because you're the king. We obey you. But outside, the French Basques had the flag, because the flag or the Ikurriña is as old as it's an old flag. It's been in existence since the 5th century. That's how old it is. The French Basques had tomatoes and eggs and even manure and mud. And we gave them a reception that they remembered for such a long time. They couldn't repress us, but we did. We gave them we threw them manure. That's to be facetious, because I don't want YouTube or anyone to censor me for any bad words. We threw tomatoes. I'm saying this because of my ancestors. We threw eggs. We threw cheese. We even took milk from cows and threw it at them. and they were like protesting that what Louis XIV, according to history, was protesting that his wig and his best wedding clothes were ruined. And the Spanish princess was also saying the same thing. And they even told Louis XIV, declare martial law on these people and punish them. After my ancestral town shut closed the hole with the cement and everything and cleaned up everything, all the mess, they attempted to do martial law. We gave them a nice little reception that they didn't forget. More tomatoes, more eggs, more manure, more everything. They left. They didn't bother San John de Luz. So
Nice.
I am proud that my ancestors that I came before Cuba, that my ancestors came from an area where we gave headaches to Spanish and French kings and presidents. Oh yes, even in the Spanish Republic we did our headaches too, and the French Republic too. But that was the history. That's because you talked about Pioneer Valley and how you dealt with imperialism. That's how we dealt with imperialism too. And now we're dealing with it another way. We are promoting, and we are going to promote and reassert Americana music in America. We are going to be really big,
right.
and you're going to great, and you're going to do really great, and you're going to do all the concerts. Please get in touch with all those other singers that I've told you about. And
Well,
if
we
you,
will, man. You gave me a lot to think about, and thank you so much for doing this. And yeah.
for me, it's a pleasure and an honor. For me, it's a pleasure and an honor. But before I leave, I'm going to give you a Christmas gift from Cuba. Even though Cuba does not celebrate Christmas or celebrates it, I don't know. I'm going to give you a nice Christmas gift.
All right.
But get in touch with all the artists because we have to revive our music. This is a caricature of me, done by the greatest caricaturist of Cuba in this century and the last century. His name is Reynold de Cuba. I will gladly give you his full name so you could talk with him on Facebook, and he could do a nice little caricature of you too. Maybe you might find someone who knows Spanish. Maybe you might find no one who knows Spanish, so that you could work through the hoops. Because right now, to go to Cuba with all of this going around is not a good idea. And he could probably do this via computer. American law says that I have to reveal my conflict of interest my conflict of interest in these sort of things. I'm not going to deny it that Reynold de Cuba is my first cousin, but I am not promoting him because he is my first cousin. I am promoting him because he is one of the greatest caricaturists. Take Goya, Rembrandt, Rubens, Da Vinci, and Michelangelo and roll it into one. You are the Simon and Garfunkel of the 21st century. He is the Goya, Rubens, Rembrandt, Michelangelo, and Da Vinci of the 20th and 21st century. Everybody goes to him for a nice little drawing. He has drawn kings, queens, princesses, artists, stars, even dictators. He even drew sports personalities.
Wow.
And he has been really, really great in all of that. And he loves drawing everything. He's also drawn everyday life. And he drew this for my program so that I could give it and spread the nice news to everybody. Tiffany Cassette, she just said hi to me. I like it. I like it. Hi, Tiffany. Tiffany, I hope you one day be in Pioneer Valley. For me, it's a pleasure and an honor. Don't hang up yet, because I'm right now finishing the show. But afterwards, I want to say a personal goodbye to you too. For
Okay,
everybody,
thank
don't leave yet. I'm just gonna say bye to my public. For my public here in the Americana Bistro Grill, I want to issue 3 challenges, and I'm not referring to the Ice Bucket Challenge, nor any other challenge. I want people to practice peace in, peace out, and peace everywhere. And in the words of Laura Marie, be love. In this day and age in the world, we need love. We do not need to be hurting each other, insulting each other, giving each other lack of respect. We have to do like the young bloods, which you also remind me of too. We have to say, come on people. I'm not going to sing it because I don't have a good voice. But we have to say, come on people, now smile on your brother, get together, love one another. We cannot have war. We cannot have conflicts. We're already on the verge of tearing each other apart, and we need Americana music, and we need to be united with each other. If we've done something wrong, admit it, forgive each other, and get ahead, and go ahead, because we got to get back to that peace. We've got to get back to that peace. Also, my other two challenges, which are personal challenges. I want people to donate to the Health Alliance of Austin Musicians. Many people around the world do not know it, but we in America know how healthcare is not that great in America. And this healthcare is already feeling strains from a disease that we do not know or not familiar with. And that I'm not going to get into because that's another issue. Our healthcare is being strained by that. And there are even insurance companies that are not helping. And Health Alliance of Austin Musicians, for Austin musicians, are helping the artists be able to pay off some of their healthcare bills and be able to survive in this chaotic world. Also, help the Nebraska Farm Bureau. Our food comes from come from states like Nebraska, Iowa. We need to help our farmers around the country so that we could be able to be self-sufficient in our food. I also, with this program, I invite all Americana artists to step forward, be interviewed. We need more Americana artists. The more the merrier. So peace in, peace out, and peace everywhere. And my best wishes to Pioneer Valley. But don't go, because I'm going to say goodbye later.